Do you have a guilty pleasure related to watching TV? Is your guilty pleasure HGTV? What is this, slam poetry? Food Network? Trying to think of other reality TV. That's another television type guilty pleasure. Do you have any of those? Because I have one, and it's watching YouTube videos about lost media. For those of you who don't know what lost media is, it's a phenomenon where something is written down in history. It can be digital, it can be physical, but at one point it's lost forever. And usually they're videos and stuff or images on the internet. They're made at one point and then they are lost to time, lost to history. An example of lost media would be, I think, Steve Irwin. I think when he passed away, I think his final moments were caught on camera, but that footage has never seen the light of day. That footage is unavailable to the public. That is what would be considered lost media. I also remember hearing that during the September 11th attacks, somebody was in the World Trade Center on one of the top floors, and they had a what was it called? Disposable camera, and they were actually taking pictures on the top floor. But anything from the top floor of the World Trade Center is pretty much all long gone, though. I'm pretty sure that is another form of lost media. Another instance of lost media would be me. I had a YouTube channel in the past. For those of you who don't know, I made an animation type video every single day for a year, and then I deleted that channel on. No, I think I made a video every single day for 364 days, almost a year. Then I took down the channel. I had like 11,000 subscribers. I'm pretty sure all of those videos have been found, though, so that's kind of like lost media. I just like lost media. I'm kind of into it. It's very similar to like a murder mystery. Like it's like unsolved true crime type deals, but for things are on the internet, which is cool. Which brings us to today's topic. An old Disney cartoon was lost media. It was lost to time, but recently has been found.
Racist caricatures, prostitution, a dead Mickey Mouse, as well as an array of other inappropriate imagery you'd never see in a Walt Disney cartoon. That's because these aren't part of an official Disney production, but rather one of the most disturbing Disney parody cartoons finally released to the public after being lost for over 60 years.
Old Mickey Mouse cartoons that turned racist, and it wasn't made by Disney? That's wild. So this is a lost animation that is a parody of Mickey Mouse. It wasn't actually made by Disney, I don't think. I don't know much about it, but I saw that this lost media was found, so I just wanted to take a look at it. But yeah, this video is gonna have some heavy topics, some not great things in it, so be warned.
This journey, over half a century in the making, began on October 24th, 2014, when an article was created on the Lost Media Wiki regarding a lost 1964 animation inspired by Mickey Mouse and other characters found within the Walt Disney cartoons. The article would go on to describe this piece in unsettling details, claiming to depict racist caricatures, toilet humor, Fantasia's centaurs working as prostitutes with Goofy as their pimp, and the 7 dwarves in mourning over a deceased Mickey at the Mouska Mausoleum. Its name was Uncle Walt, and while sources claimed it had been screened once at the American Film Institute in 1972, what was even more mysterious about the short was that for 60 years, no visual proof had ever surfaced, leaving many eager for just a glimpse, while others questioned its entire existence.
Uncle Walt? I don't like that title. Goofy as a pimp with centaur prostitutes. That, oh my gosh, that would have been hilarious if it just, like, if that turned, like, imagine if the cartoon, halfway through watching it, it just turned into True Romance or something, where Mickey comes in, he saves all the prostitute centaur people, falls in love with one of them, kills Goofy. That would have been hilarious, but unfortunately that's not what happened. So there was a Lost Media forum page that broadcasted to everyone saying about this cartoon, saying, hey, have you guys seen this anywhere? They went into full detail about what it was about, and apparently it was about that. But weirdly enough, nobody has seen it, like, ever. And it was made like 60 years ago, which is wild that something could go unseen for such a long amount of time. And apparently there was a record of it being shown once, but there was nothing for 60 years. That is wild.
However, there was hope that the short may once again have the opportunity to see the light of day, as its creation was attributed to one man, Robert Swarth. Of course, the most obvious possibility of obtaining a copy was to contact Swarth directly, although that already posed a problem. Within the past decade of searching for the film, Swarth didn't appear to have a presence on any social media platforms, which, given how he's now 83, shouldn't have come as a surprise. Although, ironically, he likely had extensive knowledge of computer technology, as he is credited with being a visual effects artist for most of his life. While he may not have been able to be contacted online directly, on February 3, 2020, a user on Reddit created a thread in which he claimed to have reached out to a staff of UCLA, the university where Swarth created the short, who had close connections to Swarth, and asked Swarth if he had any intentions of ever releasing Uncle Walt, to which Swarth responded, he has no intentions to ever release the film publicly.
So people were looking for this short thing, and the creator of the short was credited somewhere on the internet. His name is Robert Swarth. Apparently he made the whole cartoon and he's still alive, but people can't really contact him because he's old and he doesn't have any social media. But apparently there was a Reddit thread that contacted the company he works for, and the Reddit thread asked the company he works for, hey, can we speak to Robert? And the people who work for the company were like, yeah, we talked to Robert about this. He says he doesn't want anybody to see that cartoon.
Although it was disappointing, Swarth likely had his reasons. As mentioned previously, according to various database websites, Swarth is a media industry veteran, assisting with visual effects in high-profile films, such as the very first Star Trek movie in 1979, in which he even received an Academy Award nomination for. With an accomplished career such as his own, Swarth would probably never want to revisit such a vulgar animation he made 60 years ago that, like most projects artists look back on, he probably finds hard to watch and may even regret making.
So apparently Robert Swarth changed his ways. He made that super offensive cartoon, and then he had an actual career. He worked on the Star Trek movies. He got nominated for an Oscar, and he's like, I don't want people to see that cartoon. It was horrible. I regret making it, which is good. I'm happy that he's not like, yes, I like that I made it super crazy. I'm happy that he wants it to be hidden.
Although, the Lost Media Wiki had noted the piece was actually listed as archived in the Robert Swarth collection at the Academy Film Archive in Hollywood, California, but only for private viewings with an in-person appointment. So, with practically little to no progress on tracking down the lost film for long-term public viewing, many were left feeling the search had hit a permanent dead end. Then, as 2024 rolled around, things began to look promising. On December 31st, 2023, seasoned animation archivist Steve Stanchfield announces Public Domain Mouse Adventures, a Blu-ray compilation of unauthorized Mickey Mouse cartoons to celebrate the character's entrance into the public domain.
So they do actually have the cartoon, but it's archived somewhere in some private thing you have to go make an appointment to go see. So this thing can't be seen to the public, right? It's archived, it's locked away, only for specific people to see. But when 2024 came rolling around, Mickey Mouse went into the public domain, and there's this company called Thunderbean that were going to release a compilation of unofficial Mickey Mouse cartoons because Mickey Mouse went into the public domain. And apparently, what was it called? Uncle Walt was going to be in that compilation.
This compilation was to be released through Stanchfield's media label, Thunderbean, an independent company specializing in the restoration and release of public domain and golden age cartoons. With its announcement came the obvious selling point of this collection, the presence of a certain Mickey Mouse short that had been lost for 60 years, the infamous Uncle Walt. Of course, with a piece of lost media as coveted as this, Steve was questioned as to how he came into possession of it, and, as expected, he never explicitly gave a direct answer, simply stating, "We do end up getting access to some pretty rare things. It's honestly a lot of years collecting."
So Thunderbean, the company, is making a Blu-ray disc compilation with all these different old cartoons in it, and it is including the Uncle Walt cartoon. And people contacted the company that is making this compilation, and they're like, where did you get this old Uncle Walt cartoon from? I can only imagine they're doing like full-on good cop, bad cop interrogation, like beating him up and stuff, asking him, hey, where'd you get this cartoon? I can only expect like Chinese water torture trying to get information out of this guy, but instead of water, it's probably Mickey's blood, because they're like, give me the location of where you found this old cartoon. And the guy they were interrogating, he was like, I cannot say. I'm just a private collector, and I'm just making this compilation because it's cool.
So while everyone thought they were about to bear witness to lost animation history, the journey wasn't quite over yet, as what was expected to be a 4-month wait between its January announcement and April release quickly amounted in routine monthly delays to May, then June, July, until eventually on August 30th, 2024, when Stanchfield and Thunderbean made a public announcement on both the Blu-ray.com and Lost Media Wiki forums, stating, "To the film community, Thunderbean customers, and fans of animation and lost media, in these 2 decades, we've been fortunate to scan, restore, and release many holy grails that were long sought after. Some were genuinely lost, others just not accessible for viewing. In this time, there has never been a film we've managed to gain access to that we haven't eventually released. That, however, has now changed. For the special set, Public Domain Mouse Adventures, we plan to release Uncle Walt as part of the set. Because of several factors related to the film, we have made the decision to not release Uncle Walt as part of this set. We'll still be releasing the set without this one short film. We understand the disappointment of the film and animation fanbase, especially the Lost Media Wiki people. It's one film among many that may or may not be unearthed to the larger public at some point. Sincerely, Steve Stanchfield, Thunderbean."
So the creation of this Blu-ray disc compilation, including the old short film, it got delayed, and it got delayed, and it got delayed, and eventually the people who created the compilation were like, yeah, I'm sorry, but we're not going to give you this Uncle Walt short film in the compilation. I'm sorry, but we're not going to do it.
Obviously, the removal of Uncle Walt from Public Domain Mouse Adventures caused quite a bit of backlash across social media from fans who were eagerly awaiting its release, and with Stanchfield providing no specific reason for the abrupt decision half a year into the project only added more fuel to the fire. However, to uphold their reputation and good faith with the animation community, they did claim refunds would be provided for those who wanted to cancel their pre-order as a result of Uncle Walt's removal.
The company that is organizing and putting together this compilation Blu-ray disc, they took out Uncle Walt, they took out that cartoon very abruptly, right, from the compilation. And that made the community really mad because they really wanted to see this old, lost cartoon. And Thunderbeam, they gave everybody who pre-ordered the disc refunds because they knew the only reason why they would buy that disc is to see that old short film. And it's weird that it got taken out of the project very, suddenly. That is super weird.
Ironically, it wasn't just Stanchfield and Thunderbean who faced criticism, but even groups such as the Lost Media community, who angry patrons believed were the reason the film was removed in the first place. With misinformation spreading that community members were advocating not to support Thunderbean's physical release, and would instead have only one community member obtain a copy to immediately rip and re-upload upon its release, and that Stanchfield decided to pull it for this reason.
So the community's getting mad that this old cartoon is being taken from the compilation. The community's getting mad at everybody, right? They're getting mad at the company that's putting everything together. They're getting mad at the Lost Media Wiki. I think I'm understanding this right, but the community of people who want this cartoon, they're all saying, if you don't put this in the compilation, no one's gonna buy your disc, which is wild. I'm pretty sure that's what this guy's saying here.
So while any hope of Thunderbean releasing their copy of the short was completely snuffed out, no one could have anticipated that on August 11th, 2024, just 19 days before Thunderbean's announcement, the first ever physical proof of Uncle Walt's existence was revealed to the world through an unexpected eBay auction of all things, containing the cartoon on a physical 16mm film reel. This proof came in the form of photographs of several stills from the first 2 segments of the film, based on the short synopsis from the Lost Media Wiki. The seller did not include any further specifics of the history of that particular copy, and the item description was simply a copy-paste of information sourced from the Lost Media Wiki.
So out of the blue, while the whole Thunderbean drama is going down, on eBay, an old copy of this cartoon is just being sold. Just out of the blue. That's so weird and wild. I'm pretty sure the exact same situation happened with Luigi's Mansion. The original demo for that game is lost media, but I think one day it popped up on eBay and then it was never seen again. Stuff like this happens all the time with lost media. It just pops up on eBay and then it's sold to a private collector and then it's just never seen again. That happened with this.
But as months went on, no news was heard, and it's likely the copy ended up in the hands of a private collector. So with two chances that were practically in the palm of the public's hands snatched away so unexpectedly, the lost animation community needed a miracle. And it came in the form of yet a second, yes, a second eBay auction. It turns out a once-in-a-lifetime holy grail may actually appear twice in a lifetime.
Take away Uncle Walt from the community? Shame on you. Take Uncle Walt from the community of people again? Shame on you as well. There were two chances of this cartoon resurfacing and being available to the public, and nothing happened. But, the plot twist. It happened again. Another copy, within the same span of time, appeared on eBay again.
However, what began as an auction was quickly pulled and relisted with an exuberantly high price tag of $4,000, and almost as mysteriously as the first reel came and went, so too did this listing. So, with yet another missed opportunity, all hope seemed lost for real this time. But the great thing about lost media is that you never know where and when it'll show up, as almost exactly 2 years to the date of Thunderbean's initial announcement in January of 2024, the first month of 2026 has already set the found media bar incredibly high by gracing us with something many of us thought we would never see in our lifetime. On January 12, 2026, YouTuber Unky NPC finally broke the years-long cycle by uploading a video titled Uncle Walt 1965 16mm, containing the full 7-minute long short by Robert Swarth.
So another copy of the old cartoon was sold on eBay to a guy, and then this guy wasn't a private collector. He actually uploaded the whole cartoon to YouTube for free for anyone to watch. I've seen the cartoon myself, and it's not great. I mean, respect to the community for going this far to actually get the cartoon. I'm just not a huge fan of it. It was super, racist and stuff. But it was interesting to watch this documentary. I'll have all the credentials of this documentary and stuff, people who made it, in the description below. But if you want to see this old cartoon, it is somewhere out there.
In which he does confirm he purchased the second eBay copy after striking a preemptive deal with the seller. There's also a lot more information on this topic he's able to provide, so be sure to watch it to hear his full side of the story. But to say this upload was unexpected would be a gross understatement. It appears to have also been a surprise to Stanchfield, as an 8 o'clock post on the Blu-ray.com forums from the night of the short's release states, "Sigh, I got doxxed because of Uncle Walt and honoring the wishes of the filmmaker by not releasing it. Now that it is, I'm sure people will be less pent up about it. Also spent a bunch of time and some money scanning and cleaning up the print. What I have is much better looking than this, but still a bootleg. The second half was made in color, and maybe, now that this is out, the original version could possibly make its way out into the public sphere. Not up to me though."
So after the cartoon released to the public, the guy who originally was going to release the cartoon in the compilation, he's like, man, he got doxxed. He got doxxed by people because they were so mad that he didn't release the cartoon. But he said, Steve, I think his name is, he was originally going to release it. He says, now that the cartoon is out, I think I can release my cut to the public too. My cut is better quality. I think he said that it has color in some parts of it, which is cool.
A bit of a bittersweet conclusion, getting new information that portions of the original were colorized, but also learning of the toll it's had on Stanchfield and Thunderbean's production. Between Stanchfield's comment and information from Unky's documentary, it is confirmed the film's absence was the result of Swarth contacting Thunderbean at the last minute, asking for its removal. with Stanchfield deciding to uphold his credibility and integrity within the animation community by doing so, which I suppose no one can fault him for. But for those like myself who have been waiting years to see what Goofy as a pimp looks like, I will say, I'm not sure the animation lived up to the decades-long hype.
The animation definitely didn't. It is very wild. It is like, ugh. So that's the end of the story. The short was released, and apparently the original creator of the cartoon, Robert Swarth, he made the thing in the first place. He contacted Thunderbean and was like, don't include this in the compilation. And Thunderbean was nice. They were like, okay, we're not going to include it. And then Steve, he works for Thunderbean. Then he got doxxed because he was trying to do the right thing, which is crazy. But at the end of the day, it was found, which is all that matters, and that's cool. This was just a story of lost media stuff that I found. I found this morning, and I was like, wow, that is interesting. Lost media is cool. I should make a video about it, and I did. Let me know if you want me to make more videos like this in the future. I know this is kind of weird for me. I usually do gaming videos, but let me know if you want to hear me make more videos about my interests. I feel like that would be cool. I feel like that'd be very connecting to my audience if I tell you guys what I like and stuff. But that was the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like it. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, be sure to subscribe. That is everything. So I'll see you later. Bye now.